Imagine having such great inner peace that nothing can bring you down. Complaints, provocations, workplace arguments, or fights at home simply don't affect your heart. Sounds like fantasy, right? But it can really happen. The Stoics, thinkers from long ago, learned this way of living. They weren't cold, emotionless people, but they discovered how to manage their own emotions, remaining calm even when everything around them was falling apart. Stoicism is a type of teaching that shows how to pay attention to what is within our control, such as our thoughts and choices, and let go of what is beyond our control, such as the behavior of other people or unexpected events in life. And the most incredible thing is that these ancient ideas are very helpful in dealing with pressure, irritation, and the hectic pace of modern life. In this video, I'm going to explain how to use Stoicism to control anger and live a lighter life. If you put these guidelines into practice, you'll realize that you don't need to get angry or worn down by what others do. True change doesn't come from the outside, but from what happens inside you. Before we begin, I want you to do 3 things. First, write in the comments, "Today begins my best version. I am a Stoic." This is like a promise you make to yourself to train your mind and live with more firmness. Second, hit the like button right now. Your gesture helps spread these ideas to more people. And finally, be ready to write down what touches you. Let's understand together how the Stoics can change the way you see life. Let's go? 1. Set clear boundaries. When you don't set clear boundaries, you let other people decide how to treat you. And this can lead to sadness, exhaustion, and even anger within you. Setting boundaries isn't about being rude or pushing anyone away, but about calmly and firmly explaining the limits of your time, patience, and energy. You are the one who needs to say what you accept and what you don't. When you don't do this, it seems like any bad behavior is okay, and this weighs heavily on your heart. Boundaries protect your peace of mind and help build more respectful relationships. We often avoid saying no because we're afraid of arguments or seeming like bad people. But when you don't set boundaries, you end up fighting inside, getting tired and irritated. If someone disregards what you consider important and you don't say anything, that person will continue doing the same. But when you show in a firm and polite way that you don't accept it, you make it clear that you have value. You don't need to raise your voice, just be sincere. You can say simple things like, "I don't like that kind of comment," or "My time is valuable, please respect that." I remember when I used to let everyone interrupt me at work. I thought that was being nice, but deep down I was annoyed. One day I decided to change and calmly said, "I'm busy now, can we talk later?" At first some people thought it was strange, but then they started respecting my space and I felt much better. Epictetus explained that we control how we present ourselves to the world, not what others do. You can't stop someone from acting badly, but you can choose how you will respond. Seneca said that true strength appears when we manage to remain calm, even when refusing something. Setting boundaries requires courage because it shows that you truly respect yourself. Don't expect people to guess what hurts you. Speak clearly. And if someone still doesn't respect you, consider whether it's worth staying close to that person. Boundaries aren't about controlling others, but about protecting your own peace. With time and practice, you create an environment where anger diminishes because relationships become more balanced and fair. 2. Forgiveness ends anger. Anger is like a weight we carry without realizing it. We hold on to bad feelings, thinking it will hurt the person who wronged us, but in reality we are the ones who suffer. It steals our peace and keeps us trapped in what has already happened. Forgiveness is the door that releases us from this prison. It's not about saying the mistake was right or pretending nothing happened, but about stopping feeling pain for something that is in the past. Forgiving is a gift to yourself, a way to bring calm back. When we hold on to anger, we replay the wound in our minds. Marcus Aurelius said that the best response to someone who has hurt us is not to act like that person. Staying angry gives power to the person who hurt you. Forgiveness returns that power to you. Think of someone who was betrayed by a friend. The resentment doesn't affect the one who betrayed, but rather the one who continues to carry the bitterness. Forgiving is understanding that the past is closed and shouldn't control your present. This doesn't mean trusting again, but rather stopping allowing yourself to be hurt. Forgiveness requires courage because it means choosing to let go of pain. Seneca said that anger robs us of our ability to decide. If someone hurts you and you respond with resentment, you are handing control over to that person. But when you forgive, you regain your peace. Epictetus reminded us that we cannot control other people, only our own reactions. By forgiving, you free yourself from wasting energy on something that only exists in your mind. The true victory is moving forward without letting anger consume you. 3. To live with purpose. Overcoming anger is easier when we have a reason to live. Without a purpose, everything seems empty and directionless. Waking up without knowing why becomes a sad habit. This emptiness creates frustration and makes us overreact. Any small problem seems gigantic because there's nothing bigger to focus on. The Stoics understood that true peace is born from a purpose that aligns with our values, something that gives meaning to our days. Without it, everything becomes a distraction. Traffic is annoying, words hurt, life seems unfair. But when we have a purpose, these things lose their power because our attention is on what really matters. Marcus Aurelius suggested asking yourself, why am I here? What has value for me? When you understand these answers, frustrations stop controlling you. You don't fall for provocations because your energy is focused on something important. I remember a time when I had no direction, stuck in a lackluster routine. Everything irritated me because I had no reason to get out of bed. When I discovered my purpose, creating content and helping people, the problems became details. The anger disappeared because I was focused on what made my heart sing. Epictetus said that purpose is not found by chance, it is built. You choose who you want to be and what you want to give to the world. It's not about waiting for a magic idea to appear, but about acting, testing, and following what makes you feel alive. With a purpose, frustration diminishes because you don't get stuck on what's outside your control. Challenges become part of the journey, and each day gains meaning. If life is frustrating you, ask yourself, do I have a clear purpose? When you discover what moves you, anger becomes just a distant noise. 4. Negative emotions stem from frustrated expectations. Anger, sadness, and frustration arise when we expect something to happen and it doesn't. These feelings stem from the difference between what we imagine and what actually occurs. We think the world should act the way we want, and when that doesn't happen, we feel as if something has betrayed us. But the problem lies in the expectations we create that don't match real life. We get irritated because people don't do what we want, because our plans go wrong, because everything deviates from our script. Seneca said that we suffer more in our heads than in the real world. What hurts is how we understand what happens. For example, if you believe your partner would never do anything wrong and it happens, the pain comes more from the broken expectation than from the act itself. Or, if you expect your boss to recognize your effort and he doesn't, anger arises because you created an idea that didn't become reality. The Stoics show that tranquility appears when we let go of expectations. This is not giving up, but realizing that we have no control over other people or over events, only over our reactions. Epictetus taught us to accept what comes to us as if we had chosen it, because fighting against what is real only increases suffering. When we stop demanding that the world follow our wishes, anger diminishes. Instead of getting stuck on what went wrong, we ask, what can I learn from this? Peace arises when we walk alongside reality, not when we try to fight it. 5. Not everything is acceptable. Your energy is precious. Every day we deal with provocations, unhelpful comments, or minor annoyances that try to test our patience. But the truth is, most of these things don't really matter. We end up wasting energy and time on situations we won't even remember tomorrow, like a random criticism or a petty argument. The secret to staying calm is choosing where you focus your attention. Not everything deserves your focus. When something irritates you, stop and think, will this still matter a month from now? Does this change my path or who I am? If the answer is no, let it go. This conscious decision frees you from distractions and preserves your peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius said that peace is born when we ignore what is not ours to carry. If someone offends you in the street, does that change your worth? If someone speaks ill of you on the internet, does that define your character? These things only hurt you if you give them that power. Epictetus explained that we should not be guided by the opinions of others, because that becomes a prison. We waste our energy on things we can't control, like what others think of us, external difficulties or expectations. But our energy is limited, so it's better to spend it on what truly helps us grow. Important dreams, the people we love, and our own well-being. I remember when any criticism would upset me. I felt like I needed to explain myself all the time, but I realized that only exhausted me. So I started thinking, is it worth responding? Many times, silence was the best choice. Not out of fear, but because I decided not to wear myself out over trivial things. Ignoring what doesn't matter isn't being indifferent, it's focusing on what truly has value. The Stoics sought to control their responses, not the world around them. True strength lies in choosing which battles deserve your energy, and that makes all the difference. When you learn to select what deserves your attention, anger loses ground, and your energy goes towards creating good things, learning more, and living in a lighter way. Criticism will always exist, but you choose whether it will bring you down or not. That's the freedom the Stoics defended. 6. Why is anger so harmful? Anger is a dangerous feeling. It hurts those close to us and also harms us internally, robbing us of our calm and pushing us towards bad choices that we later regret. For the Stoics, anger was a block to a good life because it makes us lose our logic and act without thinking. Anger is not a sign of strength but of weakness, because it shows that we are not in control of ourselves. Anger is like a fire. It starts with a spark, a misunderstood word, an injustice, or something unexpected. If we let this fire grow with bad thoughts, it becomes a flame that steals our peace, ruins our relationships, and even disrupts our health. Today's research confirms what the Stoics already knew. Anger increases blood pressure, weakens the body against disease, and can cause heart problems. It's like a poison that affects both body and mind. Epictetus said that it's not external situations that hurt us, but the way we think about them. If someone offends you, what truly hurts is the value you give to the offense. Taking care of how we see the world is the first step to overcoming anger. When anger takes over, we do things without using our heads. Shouting or cursing may seem right at the moment, but later we realize it only made everything more confusing. A moment of anger can destroy friendships or relationships of many years. Seneca compared anger to a fleeting madness in which we lose total control. Often our responses are exaggerated. In an argument with someone we love, harsh words seem acceptable, but later we see that calmness would have solved everything. Anger blinds us, makes us want to attack instead of seeking a way out, creating a cycle of sadness. The Stoics show that controlling our emotions and thinking before acting are the best tools against it. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that life passes quickly and that most of the things that irritate us have no real importance. The next time you feel anger rising, ask yourself, is this really worth it? Nothing from the outside can control you unless you allow it. 7. Train your mind to react differently. The brain isn't bound to always repeat the same actions. Because of neuroplasticity, it can learn to react calmly to situations that previously irritated us. The idea of, I am this way and I won't change, isn't true. The brain is flexible like a muscle. The more we repeat a type of behavior, the stronger it becomes within us. If we always respond with anger, that becomes the most common response. But if we start responding calmly, we create a new way that over time becomes our natural way of acting. When something bothers us, the impulse is to continue following old habits. But you're not stuck in anger. Our brains change when we create new pathways within them. If you stop for a moment and choose a different response, you begin to build a new pattern. This requires effort and practice because new habits don't appear overnight. I remember when my dog broke something I really liked. My first impulse was to yell, but I took a deep breath and petted him. I still felt angry, but I decided to act calmly. I had to repeat this many times in similar situations, and gradually my brain understood that I didn't need to get angry at those times. The tension I felt before decreased. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, already knew that we can control our reactions even without knowing about neuroplasticity. He said, "You have power over your mind, not over what happens outside of it." Science confirms this. Every time we resist anger and choose calm, we strengthen this new pattern within ourselves. It's not quick. It's a process that requires patience. At first, it seems like you're just holding back anger. But with consistent practice, calmness becomes your automatic way of responding. One day, things that used to make you explode will seem small because your brain has learned a new way. Anger is a habit we can leave behind, and serenity is something we can train. Start today. In the next difficult situation, stop, breathe, and choose calm. 8. Learn not to react. When something irritates us, our first instinct is to respond immediately, filled with emotion. We want to protect ourselves, to prove we're right, but in that instant, we act on impulse, not logic. That's when we say things we regret, or make the situation even worse. Not responding immediately gives us control over our actions and prevents our hearts from becoming weary. Pausing before speaking, holding back the impulse, is having strength over oneself. It's not about hiding the feeling, but rather training the mind not to be controlled by it. Marcus Aurelius said that the best way to deal with an offense is not to become like the person who hurt you. Responding with anger is playing into the other person's game. Staying calm shows that your peace doesn't depend on anyone. In everyday life, opportunities to practice this always arise. A colleague makes an annoying comment, a driver cuts you off, a family member provokes you. You choose whether to escalate the conflict or take a deep breath and respond intelligently. Epictetus reminded us that it's not the event itself that affects us, but how we perceive it. If someone criticizes you and you take it personally, you react with anger. But if you stop and think about whether it's really worth it, you can respond calmly. Seneca said that time cleanses emotions. What seems enormous today may mean nothing tomorrow. Waiting before reacting brings clarity. Not reacting is not accepting disrespect. It's choosing to act calmly and sensibly. If something needs an answer, it will be better coming from a quiet mind. When you feel the urge to explode, remember that you can let the emotion pass. By doing so, arguments diminish, stress decreases, and provocations become weaker. Not reacting gives you the freedom to choose how to act without letting the outside world control you. 9. Love and gratitude. Overcoming anger is possible. Anger is an emotion that drains our energy and takes away our control, but we can confront it using love and gratitude. These two attitudes shift our perspective from what is going wrong to what truly has value. They don't make anger disappear instantly, but with practice they weaken it because they help our minds see life in a lighter way. When we are angry, we get stuck on the problem or the feeling of injustice. But when we think about what we love or are grateful for, anger loses its power and calm gradually returns. Love shows us what is truly important. If you're angry with someone, ask yourself, do I want to win this argument, or do I want to nurture this relationship? When we choose love, proving we're right ceases to be the focus. Anger seeks to hurt, while love tries to understand and create connection. For example, in a fight with a friend, remembering good times together can lead you to speak kindly instead of yelling. Gratitude is also very powerful. You can't feel resentment and gratitude at the same time. If something irritates you, stop and think of 3 things you are grateful for: your health, someone who supports you, a chance you received. This simple gesture changes your mind and gives you back control. I tested this at a time when I was easily angered. When I felt anger rising, I would stop and remember something good, like being alive or having someone by my side. At first it seemed a little strange, but with practice my brain started doing it on its own. Once someone was rude to me and I thought, I'm grateful for my health and for being able to move forward. This calmed me down, not because the person deserved it, but because I chose to protect my peace. Marcus Aurelius said that life is too short to waste on anger. Epictetus taught that our emotions depend on what we choose to think. When we focus on what is good, anger loses its power. With daily practice, love and gratitude become habits that leave you calmer and less reactive, not because the world has become better, but because you have learned to look at it in a different way. 10. Taking a break is a strength, not a weakness. We live in a culture that values quick answers, immediate reactions, and decisions made in the heat of the moment. But that's precisely where the greatest regrets are born. For many, pausing seems like a sign of hesitation. But for the Stoics, it was the mark of true inner strength. Because those who can pause are those who are in control. Those who respond without thinking are merely obeying their own emotions. Pausing creates a space between what happens and what you do. In that space lies your freedom. When someone provokes you and you react impulsively, the other person decides for you. But when you breathe, observe, and only then act, you are the one who governs your own destiny. Pausing doesn't erase anger. It prevents anger from controlling your life. It's a simple gesture. Inhale, hold your thoughts, let your body slow down. But it is precisely this simplicity that saves relationships, protects your health, and prevents small irritations from growing too large. Seneca said that nothing is more powerful than a mind that can pause before reacting. A pause allows logic to return, the heart to calm, and you to see what truly matters. Many arguments could be avoided if people waited just 10 seconds before speaking. Many bad decisions would disappear if someone took a deep breath before acting. The next time something hits you, try this. Stop. Just stop. Pausing isn't inaction, it's preparation. That's how you regain control, lessen the anger, and choose a response that honors who you're becoming. 11. Reinforce daily the identity you want to live. Anger loses its power when you make it clear to yourself who you choose to be each day. The mind needs direction. Without identity, it reacts randomly. With identity, it chooses. When you see yourself as someone who seeks calm, wisdom, and firmness, your thoughts begin to follow that path. The question isn't, how do I stop feeling angry? But, who do I want to be when anger arises? Marcus Aurelius repeated to himself every morning the values he wished to practice: patience, compassion, clarity. He didn't wait to be calm to act calmly. He chose calmness and let his actions confirm that choice. Identity is not born from what you feel, but from what you practice. Every time you react with serenity, even if anger still lingers inside, you reinforce a new version of yourself. Anger grows when the mind lacks a clear direction. It's like an empty field where any seed can take root. But when you consciously decide, I am someone who acts wisely, everything changes. Your boundaries become firmer. Your responses become lighter. Your thoughts begin to reorganize. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the author of your own actions. Identity is built through repetition after repetition. Small behaviors form strong convictions. Don't wait to feel strong to be strong. Be strong and the feeling will come later. Anger tries to pull you back to your old self. But every time you choose to act in line with the identity you desire, you move away from that impulsive version and closer to someone more conscious, stable, and free. True change doesn't begin in the heat of the moment. It begins with clarity of identity. 12. Facts of interpretation. Separated. We often feel pain not because of what actually happens, but because of the meaning we imagine. Our minds invent stories. Without training this, we react to things that aren't even true, getting stuck in feelings we didn't need to have. With practice, we can look at these stories and see what is truly real. If someone calls you useless, the fact is just that a word was spoken. But if you believe it, the interpretation hurts you. And what if I really am useless? Suffering arises from the story you accept, not from the event itself. Epictetus explained that it's not the situations themselves that hurt us, but the way we perceive them. Criticism can seem like an attack or a chance to improve depending on your perspective. Our thinking creates labels. I'm a failure. Nobody cares about me. But these phrases come from past moments or judgments we accept without stopping to think. Separating fact from interpretation requires you to pause and ask, is this true? I remember when I believed I wasn't good enough for many things because someone made me feel that way. Each new challenge awakened that voice. You can't do it. One day I questioned myself. What is the fact? I've overcome so many difficulties before. That idea was just an old thought, not reality. When I started facing those thoughts, The anger that was growing inside me began to diminish. Marcus Aurelius advised, asking, "Is this really that serious? Is this real?" Almost always the answer is no. Train your mind to see what is really happening without confusing it with fabricated stories. Someone criticized me instead of saying I am a failure. This doesn't change overnight, it requires repetition, but every time you question an interpretation, you take back control. Calmness comes from living clearly, without getting caught up in the stories your mind creates. Now, how do you deal with anger? Recognize, investigate, and nurture it. Anger feels like a fire burning inside, but you can learn to control that flame with practice. The RIN method, recognize, investigate, nurture, is a simple way to deal with anger without exploding or pretending it doesn't exist. It's a process that requires practice, but it helps you transform anger into a chance to grow. The Stoics used reflection to control emotions, and this method follows the same idea. First, acknowledge the anger. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Realize, I am angry right now. This creates space between you and the feeling. Marcus Aurelius said to look at feelings as something fleeting, not as who you are. Second, investigate where it came from. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Anger can stem from fear, insecurity, or broken expectations. Epictetus said that it's not the facts that affect us, but what we think about them. When you understand the origin, the anger loses its power. Third, take care of the part of yourself that needs attention. Be kind to yourself without judging yourself. Perhaps you just need some time, or to change an old belief. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we should treat ourselves with patience. With continuous training, the RIN method diminishes the control of anger. You don't stop feeling anger, but you learn to deal with it without losing your harmony. It becomes just a passing emotion, not an obligatory command. Over time, this process gives you emotional freedom because you respond with wisdom, not impulsively. Congratulations on making it this far. Finishing this video shows that you are truly committed to becoming a better version of yourself. I hope these Stoic ideas have awakened something within you, showing that it's possible to control anger and live more calmly, even in a world full of difficulties. Stoicism is not just an ancient thought, it's a practical guide to facing life with courage, serenity, and clarity. Each lesson today, from forgiveness to choosing where to direct your energy, is a tool for you to use daily. Start small. The next time you feel anger rising, stop, breathe, and remember one of these steps. Over time, you'll notice that tranquility begins to become part of who you are. I invite you to continue practicing. Choose one lesson from this video and apply it for a week. It could be not reacting to provocations or focusing on being more grateful. Observe how your mind and your relationships change, and continue, because it doesn't end here. Stoicism has much more to teach, with lessons that can help you at all times in your life. If you enjoyed what you learned, leave a comment. Don't know what to write? Just type gratitude. I'll be happy to know you made it to the end. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now and join us on this journey of growth. And there's more. Here are 2 videos full of Stoic ideas for you to continue learning. Take these teachings, put them into practice, and make the most of each one. Stay safe and see you in the next video.